Hi everyone, it's currently Monday morning, so we'll do a little bit of filming in the life of a shrimp keeper, give you guys a bit of an update on sort of what I go through and what I do on a sort of daily basis really. Certain things I do on specific days, so let's do that now. So first thing I do, these tanks are obviously cycling, so first thing I do is check my tanks for any fatalities. They got fed some spinach yesterday. Moved a few bits out of here. I have been looking for babies in here because I've seen a couple of buried females and they don't look buried anymore, so I haven't seen any babies yet, but they are sort of hide and seek world champions. I've noticed some babies in this tank, some really tiny babies, so what I've done is all of the tanks have been fed with a baby food. The one I use is Pico by Qualdrop, so that gets fed at least once a week, maybe twice a week. The snails aren't dead yet in that tank. Everything else seems to be doing fine. I haven't lost anything, and I'm always sort of paranoid about losing stuff. The top tank I'm going to put tigers in, so I have used blouse soil, and that's currently cycling. I need to order something for lids, so I've just currently got a bit of Perspex sort of hovering over there to stop the splash on the light, and everything else really seems to be doing fine. So I think the plan for this week then is we're going to have a bit of a tidy up, but my water change bin, I have ordered the wheels, so the idea is that what I'm going to do is, yeah, I think it's that board. So with that board, because I'm not using that anymore, that's going to be cut down, so there'll be two squares bolted together, wheels put on them, and then I'll make like a retaining frame for the bottom of the bin. Now what I have done is, instead of cutting it to the size of the bottom of the bin and making that top heavy, I've cut it to the size of the top of the bin, so it will balance and then we'll be able to move that around. I'm looking at a way to sort of have a pipe out the top of it that I can connect and wheel wherever I need to, but long term the plan is to get all these taps fitted to everything. I do need some of this polycarb sheet in order to do that. It's easy to cut, and as you can see I can cut the backs out of those, and that's sort of just a bit of an update for Monday morning. I'm not sure yet what I'm going to do with this tank. I may keep it there, but if I'm honest, I think I'm probably going to remove that and maybe get another couple of these, or get some custom tanks made for that size but taller and move these up onto this shelf. So I'm not sure yet. So other things we need to do then, so we've got tubs and boxes everywhere with bits of stuff in, and I just really need to sort of go through and clear that stuff out. And likewise down here I've got boxes that have got stuff on in as well, and they're sort of bits of hose and fittings and stuff, and I just really need to sort of work out what I want to do with that. Probably, you know, work out what I'm keeping, work out what I'm getting rid of, and I think I'm going to try and move all the tools and stuff that we're not going to use out of here, or at least put them into another box that I can sort of move out the room and create a bit more space on my packing shelf. So that's sort of the plan for this week. Obviously health dependent, but let's see how we get on. And for those of you that didn't watch the last video, all of my Qualdrop foods I've got a 20% discount on at the moment. So there's about 8-month dates on them, hence me sort of selling them off a bit cheaper. And the code is Qualdrop20, so if you use it on the website you can get 20% off the list price. And for those of you that aren't aware, we also, so this is a food from Holland, and we do various foods on this as well. So these are fish foods, so we do a catfish mini pellet, ideal for if you've got Corridorus, guppy mini pellet, which is a slow sinker. We do these in various sizes, spirulina granules, we've got colour flakes, colour granules, sticky green tablets, we do algae wafers and tropical flakes, and we do have a few in the larger sizes as well. and we do tab him in for bottom feeders. But loads of stuff that we've got in. The stuff that I'm testing is this triple G SMN shrimp snail remover, and we do a couple of their foods as well. So there's a meat and a veg. Shrimp foods, they come in long sticks, you just break them up. So hoping to stock more of that. I am down to my last tin of the snail remover, and I've used one myself, as well as lots of, you know, medications, various different mineralizers, loads of SL Aqua products, loads of additional stuff. And we also stock out Aquadip for fish, you know, so plant food, H2O maker, which is a bit like Prime, but it's an Aquadip version, green algae control. So we do stock lots of stuff, filters, heaters, soil, substrates, various different things for shrimp tanks, and we've got pleco caves and stuff, breeding caves. We also started stocking moss, so moss gel glues for scapers and stuff, and a really good value that is. There's other stuff down here, heaters, GBee merch, so we've got the mugs, various rocks, etc. So if you haven't already, give us a check out on the website, see how you get on. And as well as obviously this stuff and the SL Aqua feeds, we also sell accessories. One of the other things that I wanted to try and do as well is I wanted to try and make use of, so I've got a poster here. I quite like my posters, and I might have some other ones of those, but I do like my posters. I think the ones there are getting damaged, so what I was thinking of doing was actually boarding off the sides of these racks, so just covering them up with a board of some description and using them to put posters and stuff on. So try and sort of maximise, you know, the area and the space. I suppose I could put posters on the ceiling, but that sort of defeats the object of a poster. So that's what we're sort of trying to achieve anyway. That mat that we bought has sort of died a bit of a death. Ideally, it's okay I suppose, but ideally it's that type of mat that I'm after that's long. But if I'm going to have wheelie dollies for the bin, then it may sort of be pointless having a mat unless I sort of have the mat really close to the tanks, just for drips and stuff, so the floor doesn't continuously get wet. But update for Monday, I'll continue throughout the week and let you know how we get on. And I'm quite pleased with my pure black line. Haven't lost any of those at all. They seem to be doing really, really well. And so I did want to move them into the house, but I'm probably not going to for the immediate future, and see how we get on with those. But that's it. Update for Monday. Catch you soon. And we've now finished building a dolly for the bin. So we put some edges on there. I've deliberately left them open so that if any water does spill, it isn't sort of trapped between there. And the idea is that it's empty at the moment, but the idea is that we can just move that around to where we need to move that to. So that's the dolly finished. The next section of the video is going to look at shrimp. So we're going to have a bit of an update and a look around the shrimp tanks and some other stuff regarding other bits that we've done or are about to change to the rack. So I'll switch over to that bit of video. Enjoy. Starting off the tour of the shrimps with our tangerine tigers. So this one's just sitting there, and then as we move over, there's a couple at the back. So I have got some of these coming, I believe next week, 20 or so of the tangerine tigers. Then these are what I class as my medium to high grade fancy tigers, and these are breeding pretty well, probably ready to do some selection. Another shot of those. There's a big old white one in the back there that probably needs to move out of that tank. And then these, and apologies for the poor video quality, are my Galaxy tank. So I'm in the process of selecting a few from here, just simply because I know there are some really good bases to start from. and we can sort of get those into another tank, select some males and females that are relevant, and sort of work with those to get some genetics. This, as you're probably aware, is my experiment tank. So in here are red tigers and orange-eyed blue tigers, and they are breeding, but they haven't crossbred yet. I do need to take a few of the red males out. There are a lot of red males in here, but they wouldn't come out, these ones. I had to put a bit of food in to get these out. Moving on from those then, the infamous mixed tank. So there's all sorts goes in here, and if I'm not happy with the quality of something, it gets moved into here. That then takes us over to the shrimp we saw last week. So these are pure black line, which brings us on nicely to the pure red line. So these are due to be moved as they're not breeding very well and they're quite lethargic. My blue tanks are a mix of blue steels and blue bolts and red steels. This is my lower grade fancy tigers, and I struggle to get focus here, so apologies for that. So this is a tank of lower grade fancy tigers that breed like crazy. Apologies for reflection and blurred here. Then my favourite, my spotted head pintos. So these are doing really well, and see how these are quite active and moving around. They're on new soil, so this is how you know the soil's active and doing what it's supposed to do. There's not massive amounts in here. There's a couple I need to take out that don't sort of hit the grade. And then going with the pure red line and the pure black line, these are pure white line. So these were breeding really well in a small tank. I have moved them over onto another tank. Haven't lost any, but they're not breeding. And then down on the bottom of the rack, we've got the bloodshots, which are a cross between tangerine tiger and the red tiger we saw earlier, but it's a stabilized strain. Get quite a lot of reflection off these tanks, so apologies for that. And then this is another experiment tank. So what I've done with my galaxies, I've separated out the reds and put them in their own tank just to see what they do. I think they will still give birth to the black genetic, but hopefully we can sort of wean that out, get a nice back line. There's a couple in here that are nice. And then my fire red Neo Caridina. So quite a lot of these are for sale on the website. They're a good quality Neo Caridina and a brilliant, cherry shrimp, a really good starter shrimp for people who want to get into the hobby. I think if you look closely, you might see the odd baby rabbit snail in here as well, and my reflection, obviously. Then this tank will have Neos in, but at the moment it's got some imported Amano shrimp that are always super active anyway, always on the lookout for food, fight over it, but the plan is to get another Neo in here. And then these are my orange cherry shrimp, or my orange Neo Caridina. So I bought a small colony, and I'm not realistically selling these yet. I want to get this colony a lot bigger, but they are nice. They are of good quality. And then finally with the shrimp, then just a bit of video on an active shrimp. See how it's mooching and moving around. He's doing really well. And then I wanted to show you what we've done underneath these smaller tanks. So we did mention that we were going to sort of raise them up, and I've built frames to raise them up. I have left the gap so I can put tools in. And just to finish that section off then, these are the frames that we built. So they are just timber, and this one here will go under that tank, and that tank will pull forward. So I want to get them all flush because ultimately I want to close these off with flaps, and likewise with that one. And then sort of talking about those smaller tanks then, this particular one here we've reset, and I've put that on SL Aquasoil. I put a date on it, need to level up that label. But the idea of that one is that one's intended, I think, to move out some of the galaxy shrimp and select from some good females and males to put in there. That'll be my sort of start of the breeding process. I mentioned that I'm getting some more tangerines in, and then in the pipeline we've got orange eye red devils, we've got blue dragons, which I'm really looking forward to, and we're toying with the idea of getting some purple nanashi as well. And then I think for me that'll probably be, apart from my breeding projects, that'll probably be all of the shrimp species or variants that I really want to keep, and concentrate more on the breeding and sort of having tanks left over and spare to do what I need to do with my breeding projects. And this tank's almost ready quickly as well, so we've got some algae. I'm waiting a little bit longer, so there is some algae growth here, but the plan with this tank is that I want to move my pure red line over, and in the process reset that tank, but also start a breeding project of some that I mentioned I want to do. So what I referred to as Crown Missouri, so pretty good white headband and pretty much nothing else, maybe a tiny tail spot, but I have got a couple in there that would sort of fit that grade, so that's the plan anyway. So that concludes this week's video. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing, and if you're already a subscriber, a like and a comment goes a long way because it makes us feel needed. So until next week, thanks everybody for watching. Take care.